welcome back to our repeat viewers. If this is your first time, hey, my name is Jasiri. You won't remember that in about 2 to 3 minutes.
Why wouldn't they remember that?
I'm going to introduce myself anyway. Well, there's only one name.
That is right.
That holds the weight on this show.
You know what we do?
I believe in miracles.
He still has to introduce himself.
I haven't introduced myself.
I'm sorry.
I'm co-founder.
Well, no one cares.
Doesn't matter.
Nobody cares about us.
Co-founder and CEO of What Is Media.
No one cares, nigga. Stop talking. Let's get to the start of
I
that.
thought we agreed to do a different intro and not do that anymore.
No, we didn't, because this is the best. This is how we. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants me to sing it, but I'm not singing.
To my immediate right.
I believe in miracles.
The name you will remember.
Yes. The only name that matters, to be honest with you.
You know, first episode in Ramadan, so I guess it's Mashallah Miracle.
I believe in miracles.
Trying to be peaceful.
Yes.
Trying to keep, Shaitan away from me.
Yeah.
Trying
Shaitan
to
is
be,
tied up?
A very kind, demure.
Okay.
We're trying. I'm entering my soft girl era because we're in a recession. So
That's
So
what
you're
it took.
trying to be the miracle.
The
the
miracle.
miracle.
the miracle is
I am
crazy.
the miracle today. Trebs.
Okay.
And my brother.
Like Jasiri said, it probably doesn't matter to you much, but I'm Treble NLS. Never like supremacy. Next level sleepy.
Yeah.
The chill guy.
Yes.
Yes,
The chill guy. And we probably need your energy now more than ever. And I guess are you Captain Canada today? Like Captain Canada?
He
Yeah.
chose a side.
Yeah, I definitely chose the side. Yeah, the Canadian crippler. You know what I mean? Yeah.
In the tariff war.
Yeah. And what?
I said in the tariff war.
Yeah, and the trade wars and the Hunger Games. Yeah, I'm gonna save America.
But from Canada.
Yeah, I'll save him from inside.
You're going to
Pause.
save America from itself, in a sense.
That's what
That's what you get?
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you're just a toxic heartthrob offering truth.
Wow.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, we had the State of the Union
The State of the Union.
was yesterday. We basically wanted to hear the State of the Union before we recorded our show.
Yeah. And boy, howdy, aren't we glad we did?
It was interesting. I would say this.
something.
My take on the State of the Union before I get to Miracle, who is currently lacing her boots so she can just kick every Democrat's back in.
Yeah. She wore some bug stompers today. Like Miracle came with the combat boots ready for business.
I actually expected a more combative
Yes, me too.
and kind of angry Donald Trump. And what we got was a very on script Donald Trump. With Donald Trump, he's going to lie. And I actually thought even how they set up, he was like, yo, I'm going to get these lies off in the first half hour.
Yeah.
This first half hour, I'm going to just bombard you with a series of lies.
He must have took a page from my book. Let somebody that watches tell it.
Start with the lies, start.
Deny.
Well, I mean, again, he was, and the thing that's interesting about Donald Trump is he can just, Donald Trump can just say anything, and
People vote for him?
Well,
People
it's
believe
like the Republicans are like dolphins, they're just gonna clap and how dolphins do.
Dolphins is crazy.
Yeah,
hey, look out, it's James the nigga hating dolphin.
We do references, and it just, I don't know if our audience knows those references, but
It's good as long as we get it.
Yes. So anything Trump said, and he said a lot of lies. And then the second half of the speech was, let me highlight these individuals. All of them had something horrible happen. It was kind of sad and wild at the same time. The woman who got hit in the face with the volleyball. And I'm like, damn, that's how you made it to State of the Union?
Him using that little boy was so terrible.
Oh, he was
my God, that was
it was like they were
so
like
terrible.
Hey, they were like, we need a black person.
Yo,
how do we bring?
Shame on his father.
They brought the blue black boy, and to DJ, the black boy who wants to be a police officer.
No good cops in a racist system.
But I mean, again, mostly I've had
even 13-year-old cancer survivors.
Look. Oh wow.
No, because
Cancer's
it was
not gonna stop him from whooping the nigga's ass.
It
was so much propaganda. But go ahead. I digress.
Like, how many children, like, remember, you as a child, it's like, what do you want to be? I want to be a police officer. That's before you get profiled. And then you reach an age, Paradise, one of our founding members, like, tells this story about how he, like, when police started looking at him like, oh, now you're grown now you're a threat.
There's a meme about that. It's like it has a black boy, and it's like, at what age do I stop being cute and start being threatening?
100%.
And that's what I was thinking the whole time, looking at this, like, he hugging the Secret Service member, and all these people, DJ. It's like, yo, you all hate what he's about to grow up to be.
Right. He's still cute now, right? Yeah. But if they saw his dad walking down the street, he's going to be profiled.
His dad had a wave cap on there. Like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. And so, again, like, but that's what the thing, I think the thing about it the most that Donald Trump understands is the State of the Union is political theater. Mm-hmm. It's not about, he knew there's not going to be no real-time fact checker of anything he says.
Right.
That somebody getting Social Security is older than the actual Social Security has been around.
What if there was a 300-year-old American? Probably in the Appalachian Mountains someplace.
Invincible from, what's Immortal?
Yeah, Immortal.
From
the Immortal.
TV show Invincible. So again, like, he knows this, right? So it's theater. And for political theater, to me, he actually did well.
Right. And
when it came to political theater outside of Uncle Al, I felt like the Democrats did terrible. Miracle, are you ready? Are you getting up?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
The names you want to call out?
She got to kill Bill hit list.
No, first of all, I love the State of the Union because I think it really showed people who fights for them and who does not. The State of the Union also showed how petulant Trump was. I like to call him Terror 47 because if you notice at the very beginning, he was like, these Democrats, none of them are going to stand for me.
Yes.
And then he kept turning at them, like whatever he would say stuff, and he would just like pout, like in real time. So you saw that like he was just like trying to be the cool kid, like in the lunchroom, and was trying to do everything to get a reaction. So you got to see like how weak he was in real time, even though he wasn't going off script. But also, as a Democrat bully, as a proud Democrat bully, I appreciated how he looked in those people's faces, lied to them, played in their face, and watched them basically not do anything.
Right,
whether it was calling Senator Warren Pocahontas, whether it was looking at folks and lying to them and pointing to them as he disparaged them, nothing happened. And it was like, do you want actual freedom and liberation, or do you want to say, oh, we were the party of decorum, like we held up a sign while we were being lied to? And so I really appreciated it for that display, but also I love the DEI that was happening as he kept pulling people out, and how he was like, now you get to be a police officer, now you get to go to West Point. So now because you like him, you get like prizes.
Yes.
And you got to see in real time like how people were being bought off. So like I really appreciated it. But my main man, my cousin, not really my cousin, like Reverend Al, he was the one, he's the only person like I really appreciated, and everybody was like walking out at there was a couple people who were like yelling like you lie. But
Nancy Pelosi looked like she was gonna cry.
Listen, that was the Republican Party that she fought for.
Yeah.
Remember 8 years ago? She said we need a strong Republican Party.
That's what she said.
Didn't want to push progressives, didn't want to support progressives. We need a strong Republican Party. That was the Republican Party that she wanted.
There you
that
go.
Biden fought for,
there we go.
And
man.
here we are.
Clip that up. That's a whole thing right there, man.
Did you want to play the clip of Miracle? This was Trump talking directly to the Democrats, wanting their applause as well.
Yeah, man, this was
Q-gate, Lady Gaga.
Fifth such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease a disease that would wipe out entire nations.
RFK won't allow
or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad.
He flexed on that. He said, "I've been up here 5 times, nigga."
Yeah, but again,
despite all your meddlesome tactics, I've been up here 5 times.
And again, it wasn't enough that like the Democrats did offer this very weak, response. He wants the adoration. Like Trump wants the claps. He wants, you know what I'm saying? Was Fetterman there? It'd have been wild if like Fetterman showed up in support of Donald Trump. I'm surprised he didn't. You know what I'm saying? But it was very interesting. But you mentioned Miracle, Al Green, and he's a Congress.
Not that Al Green.
Yeah, because I was like, is it Al Green? Al Green, United States representative from Texas. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Al Green, after lie number 2, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he said, one too many.
He decided he had enough. And he had his cane with him too.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Like he was
I thought he was about to cane somebody.
Yeah, he was like, hold up.
His tie was the Constitution.
I didn't pre that.
He had his hair slicked
back.
Yes. He got a fresh one. He was in the barbershop that morning.
No funny shit. I feel like this would be a perfect campaign for a restaurant like Raising Cane's.
Raising Cane's. We have a title. We have an episode title, Raising Cane's. So can you play the clip of Al Green taking this stance and basically saying like, nah, I've had enough. Y'all gonna have to throw me up out of there.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Come on now.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the sergeant at arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
I'm gonna be honest. Pause that. I'm gonna be honest. Like I thought, Miracle. Mm-hmm. I thought that I was like, oh, they're about to do this strategy where at every few minutes, another Democrat is going to get up and disrupt.
You thought they were organized. You thought that there was the organized resistance.
I was like, oh,
you
this about
thought
to
the
be...
Democrats were going to fight for us. You thought the Democrats were going to tell that man that he was lying to his face and that he could not play with the American people in front of them. You thought.
Yeah.
That's what you get for thinking.
Yes. I thought like...
The one time a man thinks and we need it to be right. No.
Wow. That's why.
No. Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries.
Miracle. Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was like, this would be pretty dope. Like if they kept disrupting this, I was like, yo, this is about to be turned up. And then they just handed out the little signs. And again, like, I mean, sitting with the sign is such a weak look to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to hold up my little sign.
They did their best church lady impression. They were just sitting there fanning. Like, oh, hell is hot. Like, that's other, you know what I mean? It was just like, Easter ain't even happened yet. And you all look so weak in front of, like, this orange terror.
Now you know I'm going to do it again. Because this is why I'm here.
Yes.
They had the signs.
Yes.
Because that's all they allowed Rashida to do when she wanted to protest Netanyahu.
Come on.
And she wanted to go out. And they were like, no, you cannot. So once again, all of this violence and chaos and the police being called to escort a black man out of Congress is again the fault of the Democrats. And I'm going to keep talking about the imperial boomerang and how they have created this foundation.
You are on one today. Miracle had lines ready.
That has literally left us without a defense mechanism to fight for our freedoms, our liberations, and preserve our rights.
Reverend Al Green.
And he's 77 years old.
He is, yeah. He was the wrong shade of green because Marjorie Taylor Greene was the light green.
Yes.
And she was allowed to come up and praise dance and do all these other things.
Yeah.
That she had to keep America great hat or make America whatever.
She was screaming at Biden.
She was turned the fuck up. And then who they kick out? The old black man. So, shades of green matter.
Wow.
All green matters.
Oh, wrong shade of green. Well, speaking of rights, Miracle, Trump talked about him restoring free speech only hours after he is attempting to silence free speech. Can you play that clip, Farouk?
Government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
If you're the right color.
Well, again, I think and the reason we're saying this is because earlier that day, on his Truth Social account, Donald Trump wrote this: all federal funding will stop. So remember, he said no more governments.
I mean,
all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on your crime, arrested. No mass. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, in one hand says, there is no free speech. You're not allowed to protest, regardless of what it is. If you protest, you'll be immediately expelled or arrested, and no mass. And then he said he brought back free speech.
It was interesting because, when I was watching this last night, I made a clip about it. I was like, I know this sounds familiar. And it reminded me of Revenge of the Sith when Padme's in the hall and the Emperor Palpatine is talking. And she's like, this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
Yeah.
And, this was just, people were clapping of every time he mentioned someone in the audience or taking away trans rights, taking away, blocking all these different tariffs or creating all these different tariffs and blocking all these liberties. People were just applauding for Americans' rights to have democracy, a democratic process, be represented in the halls that they vote for, stripped away from them. And you had the perfect example, like Miracle said, highlighted. You had these weak, spineless Democrats sitting down, showing, just cowardice by their little fans, and then the Republicans giving a standing ovation every time Trump uttered a sentence, applauding for everything that they seen that they wanted to come true. They literally got everything they wanted on their Christmas list. So why wouldn't they be happy?
So I have a question. I have a couple of questions.
I have a question too, but
my first question is, if we have a First Amendment right to protest and to petition our government when we feel like they're doing wrong, what would deem protest illegal at a college institution?
So the same way that there were protest zones that were indicated in Pittsburgh when the protests were happening, areas that you were not allowed to protest in, right? They can enforce the same things.
Okay, so then that brings me to question number 2, which is, why pardon January 6ers for going into the Capitol building ready to tie up your vice president and kill people with masks, but now you're saying that anyone who protests on a college, that college will lose funding completely?
Well, I'm going to say, Trouble, that's one of those rhetoric. You know the answer.
Yeah, I have to say, come on. You know what I mean?
You know.
And
who's protesting?
Who was it that called January 6th a legitimate political discourse?
One of them Republicans, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why, because they legitimized
and because
all of this right-wing activity, all this heresy.
And really it's because, they're on Donald Trump's job. Like they did that for Donald Trump. Yeah. So anything you do for, again, this is a man who put out on his own Truth Social that he was a king. He's loving Putin. He loves the dude in I forget the other. He's like one of these strong men. He loves the dude in North Korea. He loves I think it's Hungary, the guy who's in charge of Hungary. He loves all these he wants to be a dictator. So to Donald Trump, what is legitimate free speech is, are they, for lack of a better word, are they sucking my dick? Yes. Are they against me? That's a crime. Because this is how dictatorships work. This is how the role. So in the college protests were, and most of them were highlighting what was happening in Gaza, in the Middle East, and he doesn't want that. So it's like, no, you're not going to have that. So that's really where it is. It's the hypocrisy is so crazy that it's like, oh, okay, but his folks will just clap. It's when they say like it's a cult, bro.
Yeah.
Anything this man says is a cult. I have a question for you, Miracle, because I saw, just in response to like how weak the Democrats look, I saw prior to the State of the Union, there were like people calling for nobody to show up. Mm-hmm. Do you think that would have been a better response if like on one side of the aisle, like nobody was there? Like, should they have not showed up, or should they have like gone out like Al Green? Should more, because I guess like a lot of them like left at the end, but by that point
it was over.
It was over. He spoke for 2 hours. So what should they have done in your opinion?
Something.
Anything.
Something besides what I would have
throw them signs at his head. Something.
Either the strategic interruption and walk out. You can't do that because you condemn Palestinian protesters when they did it, number one. Something like bringing all the people who were impacted. If I was smart, I would have bought somebody who was impacted by Medicaid cuts. And each time, he would have said something, would have stood with that person, walked out, had them talk to the media about what these cuts look like, what it actually looks like. I would have had somebody doing he's lying, here's the truth about what's going on. Here's the truth about these incidences. Yes. Here's the truth about like Social Security. People are not getting Social Security when they're dead. They're left on the rolls because we have to keep a track of all of the humans that we have, in the United States of America, past and present. I would have had somebody explaining different things. I would have had influencers talking about what this stuff means when we're talking about, open borders, how we've never had open borders, how we've always enforced immigration, why people have to come to the United States and be in the sovereign in order to apply for refugee status and different things. I would have had somebody, just education, something. Yes. I would not have had a woman in a basement with American flags behind there with bad lighting talking about 1, 2, 3, let's get organized as my democratic response.
Oh, that was the response?
To what's going on. Wow. Not only did she do that, Representative Michigan Slotkin, she also praised Bush and Reagan. Like, girl, what in the world are we doing? We cannot be moving our party to the right. We lost
any more
when
than
we tried to move our party to the right and get Republicans. There was no messaging towards Democrats. There was no messaging towards progressives. There was no messaging about our big tent and what the future is that we are fighting for. There was no like, oh my gosh, look at the cost of eggs a month and a half later. It cannot be blamed on Joe Biden. All of this stuff. There was no, he has lied to you. These are all the lies. Where is the white lady from California, Katie, even though she lost her and her whiteboard? Something.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah, she was tight with that whiteboard,
There was no pattern. And again, I said this earlier, but not seeing the Democrats be able to show up and fight also is an indicator that Democrats do not know how to show up and govern, is also a justification for the way the results went last November. And as Stephen A. Smith said on The View, people did not vote for Trump. They voted against the Democrats because the Democrats have failed to speak to people, have failed to fight for people, have failed to show up for people. And when the biggest call from your base is for you to fight for us, the bare minimum. Now, like, I don't know if anybody's ever had a bad breakup and you despise the person that you have broken up with. Oh, wow. And you want to make their life difficult. We all individually know how to do that. That is what we wanted our Democrats to do. Do something. Yes. A bad tweet, calling this person a liar, a gaslighter, doing something. Yeah. If I was Hakeem Jeffries, I would have had all 200 plus of my people introducing bills every single day, and a bill here, a bill there, just showing what the world could be like if Democrats were in power. But nothing. We got nothing. Not even a walkout. Police protested New York mayors
Yes.
more violent, not violently,
Vehemently.
Yes.
than any of the Democrats protested Trump.
I would
who
like
was
to
apparently
rename-
supposed to be a fascist dictator who's apparently going to kill people,
Yes.
who's apparently going to imprison people, who apparently is going to take Americans and fly them to other countries and imprison them there.
Right.
Democrats did nothing.
It's like if you say the threat is that high, and then you just sit there and let this man lie
Didn't even boo.
to your face.
There was
Right.
not even a chorus of boo
Wasn't
this
even-
man,
No, they
tomato,
They
boo.
were quiet. They were quiet. Well, they had their signs, Miracle, and I guess. Let me
I,
but like you said,
I
if
did
you-
more disruption in a kindergarten class than the Democrats did at the State of the Union.
You were in that desk outside. You were in that
Listen.
desk outside the room. But like you said, if you spent all this time, like many of the Democrats did, like, saying not to protest or saying like, President Obama famously said, don't boo, vote. If that's your whole thing, then you kind of have to, you almost like live and die by that. But Miracle, one person did have some strong smoke for President Donald Trump. Unfortunately, Terror 47. Unfortunately,
Too little, too late.
he's the Prime Minister of Canada.
Excuse me, you mean the governor?
Governor of the 51st
governor of the 51st
state.
state.
Justin
Not too much.
Trudeau.
Not too much.
The tariffs went.
What do you say? Not too much. Not too much of my country.
Not too much.
The tariffs.
Show the flag for the people.
Yeah.
Show-
Yes. He has he's Canada out today. The tariffs went into effect yesterday, and this is what Justin Trudeau had to say directly to the United States and Donald Trump. Can you play that clip?
Launched a trade war. So today, the United States launched a trade war against Canada, their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. At the same time, they're talking about working positively with Russia, appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight.
Okay,
Not when
Trudeau.
our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment,
I mean, you could pause
the
that.
U.S. tariffs came into effect, and
again, like, to me, like, that short clip was like a stronger response to what Trump is doing. And later on, he said Canada is going to give 25% tariffs on all of these businesses. And, later in the press conference, he actually took it a step further when talking about what or how these tariffs are going to affect the economy. Mind you that, as many problems as people have with Joe Biden, at the time of him leaving office, the American economy was considered the strongest economy in the world.
Yeah.
How
things changed.
Yes. Remember when eggs were only $6?
Yeah.
Now they're like 15. Remember those days of Biden?
I bought an 18 pack of eggs the other day for $11.
That's what I'm saying.
I have a friend in Sardinia who told me she was able to get 30 eggs for just €5.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
That's like $2.75 American.
So boom. Can you Trudeau speaking directly to Trump?
it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal. But Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see.
I'm coming to you, Farouk, as our resident. Now, Farouk
Alien?
does have dual citizenship,
Yes.
just in case the feds are watching.
Yes.
Just in case ICE tries to show up here, he has dual citizenship. But you have repped Canada from the first day.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Trudeau's response, the tariffs, and where this puts United States versus her friend Canada.
Well, I mean, first, really and truly, I think this is the best Trudeau has sounded in a long time, considering the fact that he's on his way out, that he's resigned.
Yes.
You know, him standing up, this really kind of cements his legacy as, like, you know, a pretty decent leader, all things considered. It's crazy to me, though, that this is what it took for him to stand up for the country in a way that we were kind of looking in the face of an economic crisis that wasn't dissimilar to what America was going through.
Right.
But all that, you know, all the criticisms aside, he's putting Canada first, and he's saying, we're not going to be bullied. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. We are a nation that's proud of who we are and proud to partner with the United States of America. However, keep fucking around and find out, right? That's essentially the stance that he's taken. Now, what do I think this is happening? Miracle and I have talked about this before on here. This is just, you know, a further evidence that Donald Trump is doing a great job of unifying the world against America. Yeah. Soon it's going to be virtually impossible for Americans to travel. Just when I was going to the airport this other day, it was mentioned to me about Real ID and the difficulties Americans are going to have just to travel domestically. Yeah. Allow this bullying to happen, to continue to happen on this global theater. You're going to have stauncher visas implemented against America, travel restrictions. Your passport has already lost power. Globally, the American passport has dropped down, I think, 5 places on the world ranking. It's only going to get worse from here. And again, you're going to see why the world feels the way they do about Americans. Like, keeping America first, you're rushing to keep America first. And you're only going to end up behind everybody else in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that...
further behind everybody else in the world, you already are.
Donald Trump did say there might be a, quote, little disturbance.
I mean, of course there's going to be. Like, you have Canada, you have Canada now partnering with China, partnering with Mexico, partnering with the EU.
Like, why wouldn't they?
The EU is slashing tariffs. America is being railroaded at every intersection in terms of international trade and commerce. They're being boxed out. Like, the world will go on without America.
It says Ontario Premier
Doug Ford
has said that they're going to cut the $100 million deal with Starlink. Elon Musk. It said they're going to cut energy exports and they're banning U.S. alcohol. It says that they're threatening to cut electricity.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So much energy, so many things come from Canada. And I was talking to Nick about this earlier. Trader Joe's and Aldi are, you know, the same company, and most of their stuff is a product or imported or made by Canada.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you go to these stores, you're going to be directly impacted by these astronomical prices because of these tariffs imposed by the United States government. So your everyday life is going to get so much more difficult just trying to buy food.
That's a little disturbance, man.
Just a little slight disturbance. I mean, because what did Trump say? Why can't you just buy a plane ticket?
Yeah, he did. He was like, it's only a couple dollars.
Yeah, it's only $2 plane ticket or something to make your life better. But no, I mean, I don't think Americans really understand how difficult things are about to be with this petty dick swinging contest. But the thing is, the fact of the matter remains, whether it's Trudeau and Trump or whomever else, this is all fun to play nationalism and all that other shit, but people's lives are at stake here. People's lives, like, you know, these Hunger Games are playing with people's lives, and the most disenfranchised Americans, the most disenfranchised Canadians, and the disenfranchised Mexican citizens are going to be the ones who are greatly impacted.
There was a clip that kind of went viral, and somebody kind of put the Curb Your Enthusiasm music behind it, where Trump was talking about tariffs, and Fox News had the Dow Jones watch right on the ticker, and as he was talking, it was dropping dramatically. Do you want to play that?
So we're going April 2nd, but very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs.
What a time to be alive to witness such.
Yeah, I wanted to come to you, Miracle. Is it going to take? I mean, there's already, like, Trump is already polling badly, right? I think this is...
What's his approval rating right now?
It's like, that's one of the, like, at this earlier point, it's like the lowest in the first like month that like in presidential history.
Wow.
Right. And you know, all of these people are being fired. I mean, they could have just showed up with all the federal workers, like the Democrats that got fired. Like, we got right outside. It's like 20,000 people that lost their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Many of them who voted for Donald Trump. Is like for like the prices. You know, you just had Trump's agriculture person basically tell us like we need to get a chicken and put a chicken in our backyard. We need to put a chicken in our backyard.
Can you even own a city in chicken limits? I mean, own chickens.
I guess.
At this point.
hey. I mean, right. It might be worth the risk, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But bird flu is right there. So it's
right.
like,
So salmonella.
Eggs on the black market. So is it like
Black market eggs.
what will it take? Because we also have this phenomenon that's happening where Republicans were hosting town halls and being like booed out of them. Like Republicans were going back to their districts, hosting town halls, and literally being booed, being chastised, leaving early, to the point, Trouble, where the speaker, Mike Johnson, told Republicans to stop hosting town halls because these clips were going viral and it was making them look bad. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what is it going to take, Miracle, for one, like, for people to finally say enough's enough, and then secondly, what will it take for like the Democrats to, or will they ever be able to muster up, like, are they some strong enough response?
The docile Dems?
Let me see. I don't want to get arrested. Okay, so I think we're going to have a mass movement of organizing.
Yes.
But obviously, black people are not leading.
Wait, Miracle, because, you know, Trump just said that that's illegal, right? No mass protest illegal.
Correct.
Yes.
But,
okay.
you know, black people are not mobilizing a lot of the protests because they're like exhausted, tired.
Yes.
People are fleeing the country.
Yes.
So, like, right now, no one really knows what to do. Everybody keeps saying who was going to be a leader, who was going to lead, who's going to show up and stick up and say, this is not right. So what's going to take is for somebody to break. I don't know if it's going to be DSA. I don't know if it's going to be the Working Families Party.
Yeah.
But it's going to take like this mass mobilization. I do think that the closer we get to a recession and people actually start to feel what's happening is the working class people are going to do their own violent revolt, and that's going to make changes. But I think the problem is we've basically told people since 2020 that mass protesting and organizing isn't right. And that it isn't going, because everybody keeps talking about, like, if this was France, if this was Kenya, if this was anyone else, there would be mass people in the streets.
France be turning up like, wait, we don't get an extra day off? Oh, hell, they be turning up.
You know? And so we have to have that direct action culture and start to create and to develop that. But also, we're going to have people who actually care about what's going on for everyday working class people.
Right.
Because some of us, myself, say that Democrats aren't really pushing back because Democrats don't have a problem with anything that has done.
Absolutely.
Yet. Right. They haven't lost their pensions. They haven't lost their health care. They haven't been kicked out. They haven't been expelled. Right now, the biggest threat is to possibly prosecute AOC for telling people that they have rights when it comes to immigration and doing these Know Your Rights trainings.
Right.
That right now is the biggest threat facing the Democratic political class.
Right.
So right now there's nothing making them urgently fight. And so that's what we have. But we're going to have...
Do you remember...
Free Luigi. We're going to have people sticking up and like really getting out there and saying like this is not enough, and consistently and fighting back and organizing.
Well, I wanted to say, do you remember when we were talking about Biden and Harris running for re-election, right? And we were ideating campaign slogans.
Yes.
And I had said their campaign slogan should have been, we haven't, but we will.
Yes.
Right? The missed opportunity of the Democrats, again, last night, was for the opportunity to look at all the aftermath that has just occurred within, 6 weeks that Trump has been there?
The carnage that's happened.
And just say, all right, we fucked up.
Yeah.
this is an opportunity now to take radical stances to prove that you still have the best interests of your constituency at heart. But like Miracle just highlighted, they are it's not even they're complacent. They just don't mind because they're not impacted by this at all. Some of the Democrats, I would wager, even voted Republican because of this, because they would have been protected by some of these measures that Trump is putting into place. Now, and we talked about this over the weekend, all these performative things that Trump has done, like making English the official language of America, the Gulf of America, all these other things. The thing that Republicans, specifically the working class Republicans, haven't done is held them accountable for is fuck all these performative executive measures that you're passing, right? Where is the change, the protective measures, the protectorates for the people who voted for you to put you in office, right? There's been nothing but pomp and circumstance coming from Trump's angle of the White House, and yet people are just eating this slop up, and the Democrats are sitting there wasting yet another golden opportunity to try to restore balance or at least win over the people that are vacating. And it's not just that leaving MAGA is a thing. People have abandoned the Democratic Party. And it's going to be virtually impossible to win back over these people with another constituent or with another candidate.
I think it's funny because the Washington Post did this story about like Riley Cooper. She hoped Trump's victory would change her life, but not like this. Well, guess what? Riley Cooper got fired. You know what I'm saying? You work for the federal government.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. Like, oh, you had all of these things. Oh, we're going in the right direction. Oh, you got fired. But like you said, it's like, I think like one of the things that the Democrats have been bad at,
besides everything,
is the understanding that politics is theater,
right?
Like that in politics there is this performative aspect to it, right? And that, like, even if you all stood up and turned your backs, like something that would have caused one of those
where was
moments.
Nancy Pelosi's kente cloth and taking a knee? This would have been the time to bring that shit out, Nancy. Not 5 years ago. We needed that shit now, Nancy.
And she put her kente cloth and like walked up to the front and just busted her knee down like right in front of Trump. Again,
at least that would have been something.
Again, like I said, like it's like to me. And it's interesting. There was an article that I was reading that was a response to the Democrats' response.
What the fuck was Obama? Why ain't he have nothing?
There kayaking somewhere.
You know what I mean?
Hey, bro,
he in the rainforest right now.
Not only that. I mean, there was this.
He had so much to say all this whole fucking time. You wanted to run them big lips the whole fucking time, nigga, and you ain't say shit else.
I don't think you're black enough.
Not that.
A little too light.
But
that might be an edit point. But no, you're absolutely right. Like. There was an article that was like, not only
keep that shit in there. I said what I said, nigga. Like, yo, you chatting big shit.
His lips aren't even big.
You chatting big shit.
Well, not only Obama, where's Clinton?
Where's Clinton?
Where's George W. Bush? Like, where are the people?
When Trump said Joe Biden was the worst president in history, I'm like, I thought Bush was worse than Biden.
But to the people's faces.
Like, to them, like, yo, Trump talked heavy.
There. I mean, but he said that when Biden and them was at the inauguration.
Yeah,
my favorite part when he was like, we're not going back to that. And I was like get their slogan and use it against them. Like, he literally, the unelected billionaires, so much of his speech was taking Democrat talking points and turning them.
I wonder
on
who
their
wrote
heads.
that shit because they earned
every penny of that.
Earned every
and Democrats were just like,
He did say the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over, as Elon Musk. Somebody should have cut right to Elon Musk.
He got the biggest applause of the evening. People, the Republicans. Cheered for Elon Musk more than they cheered.
Well, of course, but of course they did, Miracle, because at the cabinet meeting, Trump said, as Elon popped in, if you don't like what Elon's doing, get out.
Yo, like, imagine Elon just popping in on a sitcom shit. You know what I mean? Just what you niggas doing?
What y'all doing?
What y'all niggas doing, huh? So what we talking about today?
He let them know, but again, like just holding up a Elon Steele sign. It wasn't even a dope sign. I don't know. It just seems like they failed to understand how chaotic the moment is. But like you said, Miracle, if you've been talking badly about protesting and then you protest, but the cops did it and they protested like, hey, you know what I mean? January 6th, everybody does it. But again, they missed the moment. It'll be interesting to see what the moment will produce. I mean, we didn't even get to Trump and Zelensky. Like, and Vance just straight up arguing and debating with one another in the White House. And then, so this is the thing that is so fascinating, because it is like, it seems like, at least on the surface, that Donald Trump has this like Teflon piece, right? I mean, you had him berate Zelensky.
Yeah.
You had basically the U.S. vote with North Korea, Iran, and Russia. You had the Kremlin coming out and saying the U.S. foreign policy pivot largely coincides with our vision.
What if, hold on. What if this was just like Gorbachev's long game?
Hey, bro, you know,
he was an agent this whole time.
That's what one KGB dude came out and said. Trump was a asset
the whole time.
It looks like that.
Like a 50-year plan.
We went from
to overthrow the United States government.
We went from Russia was the Manchurian candidate.
Yep,
right?
Manchurian. Not even Manchurian candidate. Just like on some real James Bond. Like, because Trump is a James Bond villain. Yes,
we went from Russia is the enemy to like, where, all these Republicans that wanted, what's wrong with Russia and Russian Putin is great, right? But this is even, look, listen to this. And this is where I kind of went like MAGA folks. If you're watching, if you saw This Week in White Supremacy and you wanted to get your hate on, right? Can y'all come here for a second?
This episode, we probably sound like we're on their side because how much we
hold on. Come here, MAGA folks. Here's the headline. Donald Trump named in Jeffrey Epstein flight logs released by his own attorney general.
People weren't even talking about that, though.
But this is what I'm saying. So when you go at Tom Hanks, he was on Epstein Island. Clinton was on. Like, when you go at all these Diddy and them, they were all with Epstein, and nobody has more pictures or video. Kicking it, smiling, partying, laughing with Epstein, and now his name is on the flight log. Like, how come that doesn't bother you? How come it doesn't bother you that Trump was down with Epstein, but it bothers you that everybody else is? That's what I mean, again, it's like rolls off of him. It wasn't even a story.
No, it was not even a talking point. And I'm sure that's why he was cool with it being released, because he knew no one was going to talk about it.
That's a sign. That's the sign somebody should have had.
Yeah.
Trump's name was on the Epstein flight log.
Yeah.
Like, hold that up in the office.
But again, another missed opportunity.
Maybe their names are on the flight logs too, so they can't do it.
Oh shit! Oh wow!
Look, that's also the conversation about. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's such an interesting power play, because Trump has surrounded himself with people who have committed like heinous things.
Yes.
So it's almost like now him and all of his criminal buddies have power. So now when something like this comes out, everyone around him is like, well, we can't really say much. We're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
The same yacht.
Yeah. The same yacht is great.
Yeah. Well played.
You were saying, Miracle?
I lost my train of thought. But I do think that a lot of our elected officials are compromised, where it's because of their ego, or because of the money and power they get once they get elected, or because they've done things that now, there is someone who's saying, like, you can't do this, or they've taken money from billionaires.
Yeah.
And so now they're forced to sit there and be like, you know what? Trump is the billionaires guy. He's my main funders guy. I can't do anything. I can't say anything. So that's one of the issues that we have to talk about and we have to engage and address. But, they just talked, there was just breaking news, like for us, the congressman from Texas, he just passed away last night. He was in his 70s.
Not Al Green.
Another congressman.
Yes.
He replaced Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who was also her 70s.
Oh, God.
When she died. We also got to think about how Democrats are not investing in younger organizers and younger people to run for office.
Absolutely
and
not.
The Republicans have. The guy that was talking about we needed to possibly deport Ilhan Omar, a younger person. There are so many so many younger people in the Republican Party. J.D. Vance, love him or hate him, is a younger candidate.
Yes.
The Republicans are also winning because they're getting younger elected officials who can speak to issues that younger people want. I was just talking to someone who was like, why can't the Democrats say they're against all of this stuff? Why can't the Democrats actually fight for a future? And it's probably because they're all kind of elderly. And if you saw, and I'm not hating on old people, I'm very, very, very clear.
Yes. But miracle, our audience is our free speech TV audience.
No, but I want to be very clear about something. Yes, people are worried about Social Security and Medicaid, but we're also worried about the ability to own a home, to have a job. We're worried about the way the AI is impacting our ability to even create art. We're worried about if we're going to have schools. We're worried about hospitals closing down so people can't even have babies safely. These are some of the things that we're worried about. That's specifically youth-focused legislation and youth-focused talking points that are not even on Republicans' radar because they're not experiencing it because of the age level of their elected officials who don't even know to ask questions. When I go and talk about being doxxed and I have to explain to someone what being doxxed is because they don't understand what doxing is, what revenge porn is, what AI is, what deep fakes are, what digital harassment is, there is a disconnect there. And so I do also think that the Democrats have to sit there and say, in order to keep power, we have to invest in a younger generation of folks, people who may happen to be between the ages of 35 and 55, and allow them to run for office and support them as they run for office and not put up older people against them. Even think about like Jamal Bowman when he was running. The person that the establishment picked against him was an older person, an older Caucasian presenting individual. Even think about even here when Summer Lee, the person they picked to run against her originally was the older white man. So the establishment continues to pick older people to be in these positions of power, and then they wonder why they're losing the youth and the progressive votes as well.
It is. I think you have a great point, and to your point, we're seeing that happen right here in Pittsburgh. Right, we're seeing, an article broke. We have a mayoral race happening in Pittsburgh. We have a mayoral Democratic primary, and the story came out in the Guardian. Interestingly, like this international newspaper about Republican donors actually donating to a Democrats to try to oust, like we have a black mayor like Pittsburgh. So it says Republican donors trying to unseat Pittsburgh's progressive black mayor. It says this Democratic primary battle promises to be a big test for the progressive movement since Trump's presidential victory, and that once Trump won, after Trump's win, these Republican donors like had a meeting and basically were like, how do we get rid of this progressive black mayor and Ed Gainey, and decided to fundraise for his Democratic opponent, Corey O'Connor. This included like Republican donors that gave millions of dollars to Trump. This included Jeff Yass, who is a Pennsylvania billionaire that has put money against progressive individuals, particularly Summer Lee. So like, how do we respond here in Pittsburgh where we're actually seeing, here's this Republican investment, but a Republican investment in like this young Democratic mayor to unseat somebody that's more progressive?
Well, I mean, this is why we always say all politics is local. Like this is a time where we have to look at the most impacted people, right? I think that all of these elections coming up are going to emphasize how drastically our quality of lives are going to shift one way or the other. And awareness is a huge point with this election locally, right? I think we have almost everybody except for the DA up for election, right? Just about. And contesting against a lot of these political fundraisers is a daunting task, but we also have to look. We talked about this over the weekend. Kamala raised a lot of money and still lost. Yeah, you know what I mean. So there just because they're raising money and throwing money behind donors, you know what I mean. They still have to go out there and vote at the polls.
True, but it's also interesting that because Corey O'Connor has said he's a progressive. Yeah, right. He said like he's a staunch Democrat, but it said that according to an email seen by the Guardian, Jeff Kendall, a trustee of the conservative nonprofit Commonwealth Partners, invited interesting parties to a meeting with O'Connor at a private social club in Pittsburgh. Jeffrey Yass, the billionaire financier and Republican mega donor, has previously been linked to Commonwealth partners. In his email, Kendall noted that O'Connor would open the meeting with his pitch and answer questions. You know what I'm saying? And so here is this conservative Republican organization that has links to, Jeff Yass came out in support of Donald Trump, right? In a private, it's kind of like what we believe politics actually is, right? And how these Democrats themselves become compromised. Y'all at a private social club, y'all having a meeting with all the big money folks, right? And then and obviously to get that money, you have to do something.
Right.
You have to make some type of decision or support. You know what I'm saying? And so it says the other speaker was a guy named Kent Gates. It says Gates it says serves as senior director of strategic planning for a Republican consulting firm that received more than $1.4 million from Trump's leadership PAC, Never Surrender. And so it again, like, I think for us, it is kind of that piece around, obviously at One Hood, we're involved in educating people about like why we should vote, why we should get involved in politics. But it looks, I mean, we saw Elon Musk move to Pittsburgh and put hundreds of millions of dollars, 277 million conservatively, to elect Donald Trump. Will we see, coming to you, Miracle, an attempt to buy races? And this looks like an attempt like that, an attempt to like buy this race and put all this money to remove this progressive candidate. And again, it's also a piece where are the other Democrats that supposedly ride for incumbents? So how should we view this move?
This is why Citizens United was a horrible Supreme Court decision.
Yes.
That basically allowed all of this unfettered money to come into the elections, and people can literally buy. When we're talking about buying elections, buying politicians, we are talking about billionaires being able to literally at the drop of a dime, drop hundreds of thousands of dollars for ads, for targeting, to hire folks, to do robocalls, to pay people to put horrible messaging out that then either depresses the vote so you feel like you do not have power to vote, or that you vote for someone else. And what we need to do is pass campaign finance reform.
Yes.
We've started to do some stuff on the local level. We need to pass campaign finance reform. We need to end the gift ban, because in Pennsylvania, we don't have rules on the books that say you can't bribe a politician. So if you want to fly out your favorite politician, if you want to wine and dine them, you can, right? So when we think about Clarence Thomas, being the real life baddie and being flown out and getting his mama a house and getting his, cousins and all those people gifts, this is how it happens. And so in order to stop this corruption, we have to pass legislation for this to happen. We have to be in the streets. We have to be fighting and basically telling these politicians, if you do not want to deal with this, get this money out of our elections.
Yes.
And let us have free and fair elections. Let us speak out against billionaires buying stuff. A lot of times people think that, we've been accused of being Soros plants, right? We don't get money from Soros, but people think we do, right?
Yes.
And they think that any progressive person that's invested in has this one billionaire pulling the strings. We don't have that.
No.
So we have to be very mindful that we are in a capitalist society, that we do have to use money and profit to be able to live, but also to buy eggs. But also, we as people have resources. We have mutual aid.
Yes.
We can show up for each other. We can push back. We do not have to dog whistle ourselves to election. We do not have to bend to these Republicans who are literally trying to do that. And I think that one of the things we have to ban organizations like AIPAC that does stuff like this. We have to ban organizations that are out here, whether it is Republicans, Democrats, the NRA. The NRA does the same thing.
Right.
They put all this money into elections. They buy these ads and they make people think that in order to win, the right to life, the same thing. These multi-billion corporations that are literally poisoning our system.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say, I always tell people, and they like to laugh at me, that we could have high-speed rail in the United States of America.
Yes, here you go.
The reason we do not have high-speed rail in the United States is Southwest Airlines literally spent millions upon millions of dollars lobbying Congress, lobbying state and local electeds to kill and delay all of this legislation and investment into high-speed rail. And now we are traveling the same way we are in 2025 that we did in the 1990s.
Praying on them planes. Praying to God. Like,
worried if these planes are going to fall apart when we
not
can have
during Ramadan, God, please.
And be in a modern society, whether it is healthcare, legalization of marijuana, cannabis, whether it is affordable housing, affordable college, all these things that the people want, billionaires have stopped, and that is the problem with having all of this money. So we need campaign finance reform.
But how about this, Miracle? How about instead of organizing and getting campaign finance reform, how about we all wear pink?
I was wondering what the fuck was up with that last night.
And
was it for Women's History Month?
Protest. That means protest. The color pink means protest.
To whom?
Power to the women who organize.
Did you know this?
Pink.
I didn't know
this. This is what New Mexico Representative Ledger Fernandez said. Pink is the color of power and protest. It's time to rev up the opposition and come at Trump loud and clear with our blazers.
Shout out to Code Pink, who's actually doing resistance and fighting with the color pink. It's just like, stop co-opting things.
Yes. Our white pages this week. We're over again and so much more. I did want to talk about, like, there was a Karen of the week that, like, wrote, Trump is going to deport you in the tip line. Like, I hope Trump deports you, and then she got fired from her job. So shout out to them. Shout out to this is Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
From where do we go from here?
Martin Luther the King.
Chaos or community needed now more than ever. Wow.
You gotta be careful with him because the way they co-opted him on the election day.
Yes. So with that being said, final comments or anything happening coming up?
Final comments for our C4.
Happy Women's History Month, Miracle.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't get a week off during Women's History Month. I don't get vacation days during Women's. But anyways, on our C4, One Hood Power, on the Power Hour, please look at that up on YouTube. We had Bruce from 111 Juice Bar. The police were caught on him as he was doing work in Shady Side. So if you're in Pittsburgh, please shout out. I think we 111 Juice and go and support them. They're on Hazelwood. They also have a mobile truck. Register to vote. We got actual elections coming up, and just bloom where you're planning. Have fun. People are Ramadan after. We have Spring Forward this weekend. So I don't know if we're losing an hour or gaining an hour, but like this weekend, the clocks are changing.
I thought Trump was getting rid of daylight savings time.
He didn't. He hasn't yet, unless he makes the announcement, and then this announcement makes no sense. But we're springing forward on Sunday. So just make sure you're just using your time wisely and appreciating the time that you have.
Yes. Anything from you, Trouble?
I would say stop sensationalizing the billionaire class. That is part of the reason why we're here.
Sure.
I don't know what makes you think that they vouch for you as a working class or as a low income community household or person.
Crazy.
But yeah, and also never lose sight.
Never lose sight. My brother, Canada. Final words from Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Oh, that's enough. Don't make me go Eric Adams and who are these Negroes?
True patriot love. Let's get out of here, man.
With that being said, we'll see y'all next week. This week in White Supremacy. Peace. One Hood.